Metacognition, the thinking of thinking. You think every day, just about all the time, even when you are unaware of it. All around you, at every point, every waking hours, your brain is taking in information and categorizing and organizing it for you to be able to interpret. Some of this information is moved into your short-term memory to be used and even possibly transferred to your long-term memory, while other information is discarded altogether. Metacognition was first introduced back in 1976 by John Flavel. He described it as the knowledge concerning one's own cognitive processes and products or anything related to them. There's a moment, though, where we realize that we are thinking. Back in elementary school, there may have been a time where your teacher sat you down and started to teach you something about schema, or how your brain organizes information. I don't know about you, but my teacher always had this file folder as an analogy, and pretty much like our brain was organized as file cabinets, and then each folder was a category, and so on and so forth. At the time, I remember being confused because we were learning this instead of learning how to read, and I never really understood that at all. I remember having like test questions too, where it was like, what category would this subject fall under? And then it would like list a certain number of subjects, and I would pretty much have to pick the right one that it would fall under. Now, I do understand like why my teachers were doing that. They were pretty much trying to establish the metacognition, so later on, I could use the cognitive processes that I was aware of in my own favor. I could understand my own thought process and what was going on inside my brain. The best example of this is when you study, you are using the short-term and long-term retrieval and storage methods to your own advantage. You are ensuring that the information stays where it needs to be. Knowing how to use our memory in this way is also called meta-memory. It's our judgment of how we learn and what we will learn best. And while most of the time we think it's super accurate, both meta-memory and metacognition can go so very wrong. Any writer will tell you the tragedy that is knowing what word they want to use in a sentence, but not knowing what the word is. This is like the tip of the tongue effect. You may know what word you're trying to say, but you don't know it. You may even be able to tell us how many syllables there are in the word, but you don't know exactly what the word is. This usually involves rushing over to Google and typing synonyms of whatever word is the closest and finding the word you're looking for. We know that we can think of the word, but our brain is not able to retrieve the information that we want. This can also happen to people who use sign language. It's called the tip of the finger effect, and it's when they know the target sign but they cannot express it at that time. There's also the feeling of knowing effect. This is when you don't exactly know or remember something, but know that if you will see it, you'll recognize it. This happens to me a lot in like large parking lots. I don't remember which lot I exactly parked in, but I know that once we come across it, I will know that that's where my car is. My brain can't give me the exact number, but it can recognize the lot once it comes into view. Finally, what everyone always wants to know about is deja vu. Deja vu is that feeling of, I have lived and seen this before moment. Sometimes it can be super strong and super weird, and other times it can just be a slight feeling and sort of off-putting. Regardless, this feeling has been reported by over half of the population. Some theories as to why we have deja vu include our dual processing becoming temporarily out of sync, a neurological cause, having actually experienced the moment and we have no recollection, and finally, that our unattention perception is followed by our attended perception. Though, as of right now, there is no definite answer as to why we have deja vu and why some people experience it while other people don't. In the end, metacognition is really cool. It's the fact that we're aware of what's going on inside of our brains and that we can apply it to our everyday lives. Although, as highlighted by just 3 of the issues that can occur with metacognition, it's often really wrong. Students will often think that they will do better on a test than they actually will, that simply rehearsing information is an effective study strategy, and that the more confident we are, the more correct our information is. None of these things are actually true, but it's because of metacognition that we perceive them to be fact. So next time you're studying for a test or you can't figure out what word you're trying to say, remember metacognition and how wrong it can be. Thanks for watching.